Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Ether Show. Hopefully, you guys are having a good week. Hopefully, you guys are going to do something cool this weekend. I'm debating on going on a hike. I think it's called like Mount Baldy. It's like the highest point in Los Angeles, but I'm not too sure if I should do it just because it's like a 7 hour hike. And I was like, oh man, I don't know about all that shit, dude. That's like a really long time back and forth. It's an all day thing. But I might do it tomorrow just because I know I'll have the time. But anyway, so let's jump right into this. So I was debating on what to talk about for this episode. Not that I didn't have any ideas, but I was like, I always want every episode to be something that either I've done or I've been through or something that I think is really important to share with you guys, as well as like a learning experience for myself. And I was looking back at the episodes and I was like, okay, well, these are previous situations that I've been in, not a current one, and it was funny as I was thinking that, um, I was like this situation started to come up, and it's a major life decision between like two choices. And I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I know what to talk about. I'm going to talk about sacrifice and why it's necessary in order to get to where you want to be, right? Um, and I was looking up the meaning of sacrifice on Google, and they had it like it wasn't the sacrifice I was talking about. For them, they're like when you slaughter an animal or a person. I was like, damn, bro, I'm talking about like giving up like eating out bad for like a week or some shit. Like they're over here talking about like killing whole ass animals and people and stuff. But yeah, so I found what I would say is a definition that I wanted to talk with you guys about, and what we all seem to understand, which is sacrifice is explained as giving up something of value in the present for something better in the future. So I guess kind of like an investment. And what usually stops us from sacrificing, right, for trying to get that thing better for the future, it can be a number of things. So like for myself, looking back on like past experiences, it's always been like fear, and then as well, I think just I was so attached to the thing that I needed to give up in order to progress, right? And in order to get to where I want to be. And for me, um, looking back on it, I don't know why I really held such attachment to those things, because they really are just like barriers and things that kind of hold you back. And one of the best examples I can think of that, something that I actually am trying to still do now, and I think we can all relate to this, is just like fitness, right? So you giving up like the temporary comfort, right, of eating out and eating whatever you want to, and it tasting bomb as hell, right? And you're giving that up for a better body in the future, right? You're going to be working out, eating healthier. Not to say that good foods don't taste, good, but I mean, let's be honest, Taco Bell's bomb as shit, right? So, so yeah, so like you give up that temporary comfort or that thing of value for a better future. Um, so when it comes down to actually making the choice, I think what is really important is first in identifying that sacrifice, right? So I feel like what helped me the most to actually find out like what it was that I had to go through in order for myself to push forward was really like just sitting down and trying to figure out what it was. So like when I look back at trying to join the military, going and taking the ASVAB test, I failed like so many times, but I kept trying. It was really important to me. I felt like it was my purpose at the time, and I wasn't going to know what it was like until I actually did it, right? And I mean, obviously later on, right, like as my age now, I realize I'm like, okay, yeah, it wasn't for me, but I would have never have known had I not actually done it. And what I had to do was get through all of like the humiliation of it. So I told friends, family, a couple other people, and a lot of people were making fun of me for it and like saying I would never join and all this shit like that. And it did hurt. I'm not gonna like pretend it didn't hurt. I'm not gonna lie though. To them, I was like, I don't give a fuck. But like in reality, in my head, I was like, oh, bro, like that shit hurts, dog. But you have to give up that sacrifice, right? So it's like uh, when looking back on it, like I had to go through humiliation in order to actually join the military, right? Like, okay, I'm just gonna. I was like in my head, I was like, you know what, fuck these people, right? I was like, I'm just gonna do me, and I'm going to keep trying, and I will make it. And then once I do, I'm going to be all like, fuck you, and like, fucking bloat about it a little bit, So, but I actually didn't end up gloating about it. But I was really proud of myself when I did actually accomplish it. And the same people that were making fun of me and stuff like that were extremely surprised the day I came home, and I was all like, yeah, I'm enlisted. Like I actually did it. Even my mom, she was like super pissed off with me. It was actually kind of funny. But I feel like going back to what I said about how I never would have known that it wasn't for me if I hadn't done it is really important. And I've heard like a couple different things from some of my friends recently, and they're talking about like some decent, I'd say like some kind of big life decisions that they have to make, And I mean, being our age, it's not exactly easy to just make a choice and go with it, But that's exactly what you need to do. And I watched this video from Gary V. It was really, really good video. If anything, if any guys like message me, I'll for sure send you the video. It was phenomenal. And he talks about how you'll never actually know the outcome of the other choice. And he puts it into like a perspective of like, let's say, for example, you go to work at like some place in Seattle, right? You go to Seattle, you work over there, or you have the option to stay home. And you actually decide to move, right? And you give up like, being close with your family and all these other things and stuff like that in order for you to pursue whatever dream it is over there. Or maybe that's just a place that you think is really beautiful and you're tired of living wherever you're at. And you go over there and you really excel and you do all these amazing things and you really grow as a person. And then you're walking down the street and you get hit by a bus and you die at 31. And that's the reality of life, right? You think you know the outcome, but you have no way of knowing what's actually going to happen once you've made that decision, because life isn't that predictable. I think it's simple, but there's no way to actually plan ahead, which I think that's why it's important to be adaptable. Like you have to be able to adapt to your situations. And I know that if I, like, just for my situation, right, I know that if I don't make the sacrifice and I don't go through with it, then I'll regret it. And he also talks about that, how important regret is. Because I mean, I think all of us have some regret in our life, right? Whether it's like dating an ex or not doing something that we knew we should have done because we really liked it, because we let all the other voices like parents, friends, or even random ass strangers like get to us, and we're like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. Fuck it, like. And when I really look back on it, everyone, I'm sure they reflect on something that they regret, and I always say to pick the thing that you regret the least. And I think that's really, really important because, like I said, like you'll never really know what's going to happen, but I guarantee you that you'll always wonder, like, oh, what if I actually did do that? Like what things would have worked out? Maybe I would have actually become that person that I want to be, but instead I'm just stuck here or stuck doing this job or, whatever your situation may be. And you won't know until you actually do it, right? So, flip a fucking coin, like just take a coin and be like, okay, this side is for, quitting my job and doing this other thing, or like planning to actually do this business, or, actually shooting my shot with this chick or whatever the case may be, right? And the other one would be like to just stick where you're at. Flip a coin, and whatever the answer is, see which one feels the best, right? You're like, okay, I actually don't really like this answer. I was kind of hoping it was going to be the other one. Then go with that decision, because if you don't, you're going to fucking regret. Like it's really hard for me to tell you guys what the right answer is. But what I can tell you guys to do is to pick the thing that you regret the least. I think it's really important to try new things. And in Gary V's video, he says to taste life, right? And that's basically just the exact same thing I'm saying, right? Like try new things, do the things that you're curious about, see what can possibly turn into a passion. And let's say you do it, right? Let's say you do it and like things don't work out, right? Because I mean that's the truth of it too. That is also life. Sometimes you make a decision, like for me, the military, right? Sometimes you make a decision that you think is best for yourself, and then you're like, holy shit, this fucking sucks, you know? Like, so and you're gonna regret it, right? And for me, I feel like that was definitely at my age right now, like one of my biggest losses. And when that happens, right? So when that happens and you have like this big regret, this loss that you feel like you messed up on, don't hang it over your head. You know, like I said before, there's no way for you to actually know what was actually going to happen. You know, like you just have an assumption and then you take your shot and you see exactly where life takes you. And for me, I hung it over my head for so long. I was like, damn, dude, I'm like a failure. I ain't shit. Like, you know, I really felt like I like I had nowhere, like I wasn't going anywhere anymore, you know. And I remember how driven I was to it, and I just didn't feel that way anymore about myself. But I actually learned to just move away from it and be like, okay, you know what? I made that decision. Sure, my time in the army sucked or whatever. You know, I'm done. It's over with. Time to move on. Next chapter. You know. And so if any of you guys right now listening, you know, and you're still dwelling on a choice that you made a while back and and it's still hurting you, I want you guys to let it go. just just let it go. You know, it's not going to do anything for you. It's provided its wisdom, and hopefully you've learned your lesson from it, and now it's time for the next chapter and for you to keep pushing forward. Regret, it's a tricky one, you know, um, because it really just depends about where it's going to. So like when you regret about not doing something, I think that would hurt more than the regret of you actually doing the thing that you did. So like had I never joined the military, I feel like I would have regretted that more than actually going and it sucking. You know, like I feel like I would have constantly have wondered what would have happened. Um I still would have been talking about it, still would have been thinking about joining, and then just like never doing it would have made me feel like there was possibly a purpose out there that I could have had that I just didn't pursue. And and I don't want that for any of you guys. You know, I don't want that for any of you guys. I want you guys to, like I said before, really be happy with life and pursue these new things and try to better yourself. And, you know, not every decision is going to work out. Sometimes it's going to be a real messed up situation, you know, and, you know, just try to take that and use it as wisdom and then just move on from it. You know, we all have losses. Everyone has lost at some point in their life. And I think one of the problems with loss right now is that social media has this thing, right, where like everyone's putting up like the best parts of their life, and we compare ourselves to that. So like we'll be like scrolling through, and you'll see maybe like someone that you knew from high school, and you're like, damn, bro, they're in Spain right now, like living their best life, this and that, and I'm just here, and like you're thinking about everything within your situation based off of just like a picture, for example. And in reality, that dude's like that person's probably like going through some crazy shit right now, you know, like not even really happy. But everyone loves to put on this front like they have the best life, you know? So don't judge yourself based off of your losses, and don't compare yourself to other people based off of a picture. You get what I'm saying? Because there's so much more to all that than just what you see on the internet or like or on social media. And I feel like that's like one of the big ones. You know, don't judge yourself and don't compare yourself to other people based off of whatever you're seeing. Um, so yeah, guys, I guess that's really about it for this episode. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about on sacrifice, just because I feel like we all have a pretty decent understanding of it, right? You know, and I feel like I did touch on some of the things that I thought were important. And just to recap it all, it was really just choosing what you think is choosing what you'll regret the least. and not comparing yourself to other people and letting go of the losses that you have. It's not easy, it's a process, but it's important that you actually actively do it and make sure that you move on from it, because you'll never progress and you'll always see yourself as like this shitty person, you know? I just want to let you guys know that the Ether Show now has a Facebook fan page. If you guys go ahead and type it up, you guys will see it. So please follow the Facebook fan page. I also have an Instagram. Sorry, it's called the Downscore Ether Downscore Show. So go ahead and go follow that and do what you think is best, guys. Really, really do. You know, this is the only life you guys have. There isn't anything else after that. You know, and for me personally, I would much rather do that crazy thing and die at 31 happy as hell than live to like 100 years old and just always wonder what would have happened. That's just my 2 cents, guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. You know, stay safe, go do some adventurous shit, or chill out and get some rest, whatever you guys need. And I'll catch you guys during the next episode. Peace.